The video is called Which Marvel Rivals Characters Are Virgins?
In life, you can only truly guarantee on 3 things happening: death, taxes, and the funny. Be it pranking him John or doing it for the Vine, the funny has always been around. Hell, I'd argue it's more guaranteed than death at this point. Hence, this video's creation. I've had many people over the year use that video against me and try to explain it for why I'm the quarterback, sack and crack of the TF2 community, but Your Honor, I thought it was funny. I still do actually. And a man with any amount of self-respect wouldn't do the same thing twice.
Okay, he's just
anyway, that being said,
do it again.
he's just redoing an old video which he did for Team Fortress 2.
In the annual Lonkador Challenge pissing contest, we're going to be spanking,
What?
ranking, and thanking every Marvel Rivals hero on a scale from Corona
Stop touching his
Explorer
ass.
to heroic ally. Yeah, that didn't work. Just start the video.
Which Marvel Rivals characters are virgins? Subscribe or I'll cannibalize an orphanage.
Okay, so last time I did this, I was just talking about 9 sweaty men and a few of their sweaty friends, and this time we're talking about character numbers greater than
35.
And so I think we're going to need just more than 2 tiers
That's
to
true,
represent
there's quite a
them
bit
this
more
time.
characters in this
An
game.
important thing that needs noting is that the Marvel Rivals universe is a sort of Frankenstein's monster of a bunch of original story threads and a grab bag goodie collection of comic book story threads. Like Daredevil's Chinese in this game or something. I wasn't really
He
paying
is actually
attention. And
Chinese,
so,
isn't
just
he?
like doing the old
I think
British
half the
handshake with
characters are
light on,
Chinese.
This can make the in-game bits quite hard to tell from the out-game bits. So with that established, here are the playing fields for this evening, gentlemen.
Big win, yes, but not in Rivals. It's a draw. Can't expect to win them all. No dice.
Fields for this evening, gentlemen. Big Win is the top tier of tonight and will be exclusively populated by those who have attempted to repopulate. Yes, but not in Rivals is what I'm predicting to be the largest tier of the video and will be consistent of those who I can confirm have pushed past mid, but just not in the Marvel Rivals universe. It's a draw is for those characters.
Yeah, we're currently
who are just
watching
not
whether
really
or not
confident enough
characters
to make
in the
decision
Marvel
on,
Rivals
and then can't
game
expect to win them all is the tier
or
for
universe
tonight's
have had
biggest
sex.
losers. The kinds of characters who have never even left the spawn room, let alone those who have come within smelling distance of a choke point. Oh yeah, then there's also a no dice tier. Characters who couldn't, wouldn't, or shouldn't. All are welcome in the no dice
Can
tier.
Ultron have sex?
Actually, let's get that one out of the way first. You.
What? What do you mean Rocket Raccoon can't have sex?
You. Call me
Wait.
out
I mean-
the way first. You.
I mean, Rocket can have sex with other raccoons. No. Also, Jeff the Land Shark is he too pure to be having sex? I swear he's a freaky guy. Jeff's a baby. He's a baby. Does he get larger? Does the baby land shark get larger? Is he gonna be a massive one, like huge mungus?
You.
Also, Groot and Ultron. I guess technically they can. I mean, how does Groot? So Groot is an alien, right? How do they repopulate? You know, they tree sex. That's a really good question. Pollination, but wouldn't pollination count as sex? Do they do mitosis? I think all of them, maybe without Jeff the Land Shark as a baby, could technically be having sex. They could
Call me
be
crazy, but I am actually a man who has much better
glizzing
things
their
to do this
chungus.
time than research whether a raccoon or a baby shark have visited Sesame Street before. Things I like to do with said time include, but are not limited to, throw stones at glass houses, stir the pot, and give my 2 cents. Likewise, the wise-ass whimsical tree is here because I don't care. Being an alien species of tree known as the Flora Colossus, there is no real-world
This guy
species
knows.
of tree I can equivalent
Also, he's
him
playing
to,
against
and therefore
bots.
I don't know whether he reproduces asexually or not. And for similar reasons, Ultron's hanging out here because I'm no clanker spanker. I mean, he did send me a picture of his exhaust pipe covered in oil the other day, but I wasn't really... I was kind of into it, actually. Oh, yeah, and also I'm just going to put Penny in
That's
this
funny.
tier as well. So Penny was confirmed to be 18 in the Marvel Rivals universe, thank goodness.
Okay, I do want to give you a little bit of context here. Penny is supposed to be under 18, but the only reason she's over 18 in the Marvel Rivals universe is because they couldn't do a rating. The same thing, like they couldn't do a lower rating, like made for teens and stuff, because you can't be shooting underage people. But it's the same thing in Overwatch, because in Overwatch, you like in the trailers, first and foremost, characters you shoot in game will never be under 18 because then they couldn't rate the game the rating they want. Diva was not 16 in Overwatch 1. That's a myth, and it's stupid that you even say that, and it tilts me every single time somebody types that Diva was 16. She was never 16. Like, it is the never-ending discussion of I read something on the internet. Diva was always 19 because you can't be running around shooting a child. Like, Like, I don't know how to explain this to you, but the game wouldn't be PG-14 or whatever if you were shooting a child. Like, this is like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, people running around saying, oh, Diva was 16. No, she never was. She never was 16, okay? My bad. This is a valuable lesson for you to stop saying random shit online. Anyways, it's never been 16, and it never will be, because you can't go around shooting children. As if shooting adults, okay, it's way more okay than shooting children. And second of all, that's why there's no blood. And third of all, in the trailers of Overwatch, there's a reason why they only beat up and kill bots on the screen, and everybody else that dies off screen. It's so they can keep their PG rating, okay? So that's how it works. And every time there will be a character in game, there will either be non-human and under 18, or there will be human and over 18. Okay? That's the same thing with Penny. Otherwise, Penny would be under 18, but she isn't, because they can't have that.
I'd rather have Scoutmaster Jason reteach me how to milk a cow blindfolded. Final notes before we begin. To truly answer the question of who has had their John
It's purely for the PG
jiggled,
rating.
we are going to be drawing from all aspects of the Marvel comics. This means that sacred and non-sacred timelines are on the table, but something like the MCU is about as relevant as a salad at a Spider-Man main meetup. Some of these characters have over 80 years of history, and some of them have like 4. Trust me when I say this is the best way.
Luna Snow was created by the creator of Marvel Rivals, Danny, for a previous Marvel game, by the way. And then they made some comics with her, I think. Or, like, included her in some stuff, and then he included her in Rivals.
Way to do it. How should we cover this? Let's go in no
That's why
particular
she's
order.
always getting
We'll
buffed.
start with Magneto, because I actually think he's a pretty good representation of the
Yes,
top
children.
list. Call me shameless, I've really gotten into playing Mag recently. Nothing quite says screw you to the mixed race couple dancing on the point and then 500 pounds of shrapnel being hurled at their heads. Hands down, one of the sexiest feelings in this game. Speaking of, actually, routinely throughout comic book history, Big Mag have been the relatively indifferent father of Scarlet Witch, but in more recent iterations of the characters, this has mostly been retconned. This isn't entirely the case in Marvel Rivals, though, as reading Magneto's character description reveals that
Is
whilst
Mag
this Wanda
Scarlet's
isn't
father?
his daughter, and this Magneto isn't Wanda's father, our Magneto did have a different Wanda daughter, and our Wanda did have a different Magneto father.
Oh.
Yeah, welcome to the multiverse, by the way. Don't sweat it, I've done all the mining off camera for you.
Must be
Further
confusing.
cementing him in my mind
It's
as the king of
retconned?
Chad Nito, I knew he always was. Hi, how you doing?
I mean, he
Wanda
has
is going
Polaris
second
and stuff.
because I'm going to use her as an example for how well this video could potentially age. I initially put Wanda in the can't expect to win 'em all tier, as even though she's been depicted as pregnant and with children, her partner, Vision, unlike Ultron, doesn't even have a leaky exhaust pipe, and so she had to conceive her children via a very dark magic. No conception, no misconception.
She's never
She's
had
going in the
sex!
bottom tier. Things, however, could potentially change, as yesterday we got the Season 5 teaser trailers which soft confirmed that the devs are going to be exploring various ships within the community.
Venom
including
Scarlet. It's a crazy shit, by the way.
these two. I don't want to play with you anymore. To most people, this was a complete outrage and a shock. But to me, someone who's the funny kind of mentally ill, I saw this coming a mile away. Venom has been hitting on Scarlet Witch in every single character interaction they have ever since day one of this game. Up until now, she hasn't been biting, but something tells me that somewhere along the 19 inches, she'll change her mind. So, for now, she's going in the can't expect to win 'em all tier, but this is one of those characters I expect to change later down the road. Be sure to bully me into making a follow-up video if that does happen. Anyway, baseless transition, let's
will.
talk about my goat. I love the moon.
Moon Knight
I
fucks.
always have. Some of my favorite
You think he
pictures
fucks, actually?
of all time have the moon in them. My friends used to
He
call me
definitely thinks he
Moon Boy.
does.
That was for different reasons, actually. Anyway, Mark Spector, Jake Lockley, and Stephen Grant all sharing one body could complicate things depending on what personality is doing what. So for the characters that either have multiple personalities or a form change, we're going to go with the one body, one rule kind of deal. This does mean that if Magic is an incredibly studious member of society, and Darkchild is a then that would put Magic in the big win tier. Same logic applying to Moon Knight. Jake Lockley specifically has a daughter called Diatrice.
He has a daughter.
Alarain? AI Rane. This is in the Earth 616 timeline, so we're just going to count this as Moon Knight's child moving
No, this video is
forward.
great.
She or her
And the
mother
guy's so
referenced in
funny,
game
too.
at all? No, they're not. Pay your damn child support, mate. And so, with no further evidence to spare, Your Honor, I'm just gonna have to split the difference and put him in the yes but not in rivals tier. Let's take a look at Jean and Wolfie next, because I'm pretty sure these characters have a history. Jean, of course, being short for Jean Grey, and Wolfie
They
being
collab?
short for genetic reasons. So, reading through their bios reveals a couple of interesting things. Like, apparently, according to Wolverine's description, this Black Widow is over 100 years old.
What?
I'm not joking, by the way, but it's Jean's description specifically making reference to her relationship with Cyclops, combined with the fact that we now have a wedding Cyclops plushie for her in-game, ultimately makes me think that if these two characters aren't married already, this is the routes that the devs are going to go down. So what does that mean for Mr. FNAF Nights at Freddy's over here?
Wait, is Wolverine getting cut?
He's 2 shelves away from 2099, and he walks like an old man pushing 60 and a fridge. But despite all of that, he has a conversation with Angela making reference to multiple children, even naming one of them.
Children,
This is a pretty strange timeline we live in, huh? Who's in the mood?
What's the name of the dog?
The Punisher's going in the big win tier, and we don't really need to discuss
I mean, he has
it
a
very
family.
much. Anyone else who's a fan of the Punisher's character will know that after his family was in
He had a family, I'm sorry.
gangs, he goes on to and grasp this concept here: punish said criminal gangs. And like birds or something as well, I don't know. And of course, his family are mentioned in game. And also, fun Punisher fact on the house, of course. Due to his logo being associated with police criminal gangs, he is one of the few Marvel characters that will never come to Fortnite. Yep. One of the few Marvel characters truly associated with guns and weaponry will never be able to crank 90s with Goku. Now, completely derailing here, if you're a Marvel Rivals fan, you probably clicked on this video for one reason. You're here to find out what is up with these two. Hope and Daedra over here have long confused people without the ability to perform a simple 5-minute Google search as towards their relationship status. And so I'm happy to ease the burdens of said people by telling you that this Cloak and Dagger are most likely married. Now,
I knew it.
Hate from the lesbian
Bro, they're always together.
Specifically for
They're
Cyclops,
inseparable.
because apparently, these two aren't married. They are, and I'm quoting here, sibling coded. Yeah, I guess by Alabama logic they could be. This is, you know, completely ignoring the fact that they kisses and cuddles in emotes, and they kisses and cuddles in the plush charms.
Hey, listen,
and,
listen,
oh, yeah.
listen. Wait, you can't see it, but like, don't you guys sometimes cuddle and kiss your siblings? No? Gotta make sure they're loved. You know, listen, I'm just saying, you know, me and my, it's just normal sibling stuff, okay? Gotta make them feel home.
They're married in their most recent comic run. Just for a heads up moving forward, any characters I can confirm are married in the Marvel
You gotta
Rivals
practice
universe
for the
will just be going
big
in the
leagues, you know what I
tier
mean?
regardless. But if you're unsatisfied
Get
with
all
that
this stuff,
the
yeah.
2018 run of Cloak and Dagger specifically has the pear become an apple, an orange become a kiwi, and a grapefruit become a slightly more used grapefruit. So all is okay that ends alright. And whilst we're on the topic of marriage actually, let's just get rid of Posh and Bex. Biggie and Baddie over here have a
What? They're married?
in pretty much every timeline when they're married, called Franklin Richards, who's kind of like the key to everything. And
they
he's
have a
also
child
incredibly
too?
overpowered, and I really do not want him added to the game. I'd rather have to deal with the hunter from Repo behind me every time I try
What
to
about
record audio
Namor?
for a video. Now, I don't think Franklin is actually referenced in Rivals yet, but I'm sure he will be in the future. Forgetting to include him in the game would be like going back in time and forgetting to kill Jared Leto. And until then, a married couple is a married couple.
That is true. I mean, technically, you being married doesn't mean you have sex, but they do have a child. She fucks. I know she fucks, and I know who she fucks. She fucks Wolverine.
Okay. Never in my 10 years of teaching has a substitute left a note this bad. I've only ever seen the internet break 2 times in my life. The first time was when Steve was announced for Smash Brothers, and the second time was November 30th, otherwise known as the Squirrel Girl incident. Ever since her debut in 1991, Squirrel Girl's whole character has essentially been, what if we went on the craziest adventures possible and everything went right? She's been there and done that across most of the galaxy, and therefore she was one of the hardest characters to research for this video. So, love interests. There's a few of them. She had a crush on Speedball for a little bit.
She looks so different in that
comic. The
comic.
more interesting of the two is actually our very own Wolverine.
Why they-
in one of the Wolverine comics,
Why they make her so thick in Rivals? She's so skinny in the comics.
it's strongly implied.
I'm
that
not
these two characters
complaining.
have a
I'm
relationship
not
history
complaining.
until it was retconned. She did, however, still appear in Wolverine's greatest lustral fantasies, and this part wasn't retconned. Let's see what else is there. She had a roommate for a bit, or maybe still does. Nancy liked her, but I could find absolutely
She
no evidence
needs
proving that Squirrel Girl
elastic
likes her back, and so
People have headcanon that these two like each other. The reality is that Nancy has an unrequited crush on Squirrel Girl.
with all of this
Unrequited.
said, I think we're just dropping her into the loser tier.
What? There is no way she doesn't.
This is the character I am most confident I have gotten wrong. There's got to be something I've missed. But I'm past the point
And
of
they were
caring. I
roommates.
crossed that long ago. Congratulations. You're a failure. Subscribe, by the way, because if I'm able to
Unrequited.
double my current subscriber count before the end of the year, I will set up...
Guys, go subscribe to the channel. Longquidor. Really hard name to pronounce, but this is a very well made
The world's
video.
largest game of Pass the Parcel, where the central prize is £2 worth of Marvel Rivals credits and a couple of dead hookers. So if that's something you're interested in, let's see here. Actually, we haven't really done any Avengers yet.
You know why Squirrel Girl hasn't had any in the Rivals universe? Because nobody can handle all of that.
Let's get the big one out of the way first. So Captain America almost has 100 years of comic book history, first debuting in 1941. And so to save myself from scrounging through that as long as possible, I thought I'd take a look at his character description in-game first. And it turned up nothing. Then I thought I'd take a look
Do you
at
think the
Gambit's
Avengers have
description because
orgies? Like, do you think that they get freaky?
I do know these characters share a history together in certain
I'm sure they do. Like, imagine you save the world, you almost die, brother. These guys would get freaky afterwards.
timelines. And likewise, there was also nothing. Onto the comics I went. The first thing
The
that stood out to
Freak
me is that in
Vengers.
the Earth 616 timeline, Ian Rogers is the adopted son of Cap and Shaggy. Shaggy?
Which
Sharon Carter. With that not giving me the answer I needed, I continued digging until I came across a man called James Rogers from Earth 10943, and he is actually the son of Captain America and Black Widow in a world where everything goes a bit funky. And without him being referenced in game, this is square enough information for me to put Captain America in the yes but not in rivals tier.
Definitely.
And we're just going to throw Black Widow in there as
Definitely.
well. Now, with his reputation as a billionaire playboy preceding him, I was fully prepared for there to be tons of references to Tony's shenanigans within his in-game text. And I was sufficiently whelmed, actually. Despite the fact that he has the most amount of character descriptions in-game, all of these texts are less exciting than modern-day Fortnite. Even though his mind is as sharp as a blade, his tongue is as sharp as a slightly longer blade, and he cleaves through broads like an even longer blade than the previous two mentioned. There is no reference to Tony getting up to anything in-game.
No!
But he is, at minimum, in the yes but not in rivals tier. The rest of
Definitely.
this section is just dedicated to debating whether he should be slightly higher than that. In terms of finding definitive proof in-game, there is only really one interaction I think we can debate on.
Wealth, good looks, business acumen. We'd make quite the power couple.
Maybe. But what do you have that I don't, Emma?
Take another look.
Two
Do
chunguses.
you really need to ask that to
Ooh,
me?
wait, that's
Right.
fucking crazy levels of
So-
flirting. I would have folded. I would have folded right then and there.
When's our first date again?
References to a date, combined with the fact that he only turned up to the Hellfire Gala to begin with because Emma was there, and well, Emma being Emma, makes me think I can squarely place him in the big win tier. Alright, fine, we'll talk about her. Here's a small list of things I'd rather do than give Emma Frost any limelight in my videos. Count my
Thank
chickens
you,
before
Nomad.
they hatch, burst the bubble, and jump a shark. Emma Frost's whole character is that she does business like a broken record. She messes about and, well, it's usually the other person who finds out, actually. Her situation here is quite similar to Tony's, in that there is no real evidence of her pushing the payload in-game, however, it's just such a big part of her character that they haven't really forgotten to include it. If you want to call these two guesstimation, you can, but I'm more than happy putting her in the big win tier. And
Okay,
just
makes
glancing at the
sense.
roster here, I realised that the Human Torch is kind of identical to Tony and Emma as well. Again, playboy philanthropist.
Philanthropist.
Is that it? I think so. But unlike Emma, he messes around, and he often finds out as well. I mean, there's even voice lines of him flirting with other characters in
He
game.
flirts
He's
with
the Marvel
everybody.
Rivals equivalent of an exploding milk jug. No outright mentioning of any supernovas within his descriptions or bios, but we know very well it's a big part of his character. Okay then, Adam Warlock. Don't care.
Does he
Okay
have-
then, Psylocke. Now, this Psylocke is
Does Adam even have a chungus? Do you think the perfect human being has a chungus? Or the perfect, like, creature? I know what he is. He's not human. Do you think they added a chungus? Maybe two chunguses. Maybe an ever-evolving chungus. Slightly curved chungus. Chungus that adapts to the chungussy.
very interesting, as for the first time in this video, I've been able to nail down exactly which version of the character this one is. This Psylocke is called Psy from the Peach Momoko Demon Days
Psy's so
comics,
pretty.
compared to the usual interpretation of the character, who is Elizabeth Braddock. or-
She's white? Wait, the original Psylocke is white?
Captain Britain, apparently. Yeah, turns out this one's British. It
Boring.
seems the reason why they went with Peach Momoko Psylocke specifically was because they wanted a more Asian representation of the character. Throughout time immemorial, Psylocke
I love
come
this
in many
emote.
different shapes
It's
and
so
sizes.
cute.
Actually, that's a lie. They're all thin women. But they have changed race quite a bit. So I think going with a Japanese one was a pretty good choice. A few page flicks later, and I can confirm that this specific Psylocke is not a page flicker. Join your fellow no-skill DPS in the
Actually, kind of makes sense. I think she would be too dedicated to the grind.
tier where you belong, and Adam, I guess he's just hanging out. Also, I know I'm supposed to make a yokai joke here, but I genuinely can't come up with one. Look at the joke notes on my Google Doc here for this video. You'll see I've got nothing written down other than just yokai
Also, make a joke about Venom's cock.
joke. So I'm sorry to disappoint. Oh, you know, speaking of Psylocke, actually, I wonder what Venom's up to. There's no correlation here, none at all. Venom has been confirmed to be about 19 inches on the slap. When
That's
he
true.
swings round,
That's
the
true.
sheer gallonage on that thing could impregnate all of us, and not just the men, but the women, and then the joke ends there. So from what I understand, symbiotes reproduce asexually, and therefore we're not actually going to be looking at his royal schmeatness here. Thanks to Season 3, however, we can confirm that Eddie Brock does at least exist underneath all of that gooiness. And he's got quite the history of children and marriage in the comics, so into the yes but not in rivals tier he goes.
Let's go gambling. Daredevil definitely has sexual intercourse.
Yeah, I was running out of
With more than
transitions.
one woman.
Here's the perfect recipe for making your average Daredevil. You start with 150 grams of law studies, 2 tablespoons of Hell's Kitchen, 75 grams of No Parents, a sprinkling of badassery, and whisk in 2 fresh Billy Clubs. Now, that's where the recipe would normally end, as it would be sent to the oven to bake, but Nettie's decided to come along and add 200 pounds of China. Okay, so this is a difficult one, as Daredevil, aside from Jeff, is probably the closest thing this game has to an original character. After reading his descriptions, I learned that he still was a lawyer in this universe, until he conquered some sort of demon beast, which entitled him to become the leader of one of the 8 realms.
Doesn't
So
this
up
also
until that
happen in the
point,
comics?
He was at least living a normal life. With this confirmation, we can disregard the fact that he's mostly an original character and just turn to Matt Murdock's earlier life in the comics. And
Doesn't
as a
he
Daredevil fan,
control the beast at some point? I swear I saw this. I swear I saw this on the show. Like he was taking over the beast and stuff. And then he had superpowers. And then he like started daredeviling everywhere.
I already knew going into this, Matt has a very, very complex love life.
And then he said Mr. B.
The very, very short answer is that he's had multiple love interests, affairs, and I think divorces too.
That was
I'll be
his
sure
old
to link it
voice
down
line.
below if you're willing to read more into it. Hey, it's me, the guy making the video. Hope you're doing well. Did you know I like Mantis? Did you know that
Same.
Mantis started off life in the comics as a Vietnamese prostitute? Both of those things are true, by the way. Mantis has to have gone on the wildest character journey I have ever seen in the entirety of comics. She was essentially someone's OC creation who made it into Marvel, and when said creator left to go make comics for DC, he literally just remade her there with a different skin color and name. Actual wild behavior. I guess the modern day equivalent of this would be the 6'7" kid abandoning the meme and trying to launch the new meme of 7'8", which I
That is
could actually see
so-
happening. These two characters are essentially different characters, but with the name and various other attributes still sticking, we've got to put her in the yes but not in rivals tier. What a weird Friday this is.
What's her
Going
real
from single
name?
minglers to family guys, Hawkeye has usually been depicted with some amount of wives or children under his elbows, so you can imagine my surprise when I found no reference to either of those things in game.
Mantis, her real name, that's
no
it?
reference to no, there's a few references to guys actually. This, combined with the whole shipping route that the rivals devs seem to be going down in the near future, ultimately makes me think that the relationship between him and Nat is probably going to be explored later. I wouldn't put it past
Does
these
she not
devs.
have a
You
real
shouldn't
name?
Put it past these devs, and neither should that random guy over there. Lucky there's a man who positively can do all the things that make us. Actually, Namor makes me cry. My eyes are actually sealing shut reading all of this. I don't care. Go in that tier. Here's
Yeah.
a list of things I'd rather do than
Namor
read the
got
comic
it.
history of Namor. Not repeat a joke for the 3rd time. You. Magic is just kind of a freak, and I really don't want to use that word, but there's no other way for me to describe it. She'll go for anything when the lights are on. She makes out with aliens, she makes out with bugs, and whilst she doesn't make out with bug aliens, she has made out with alien bugs. Look at this panel. This is a real panel from a real comic. It's
What is this panel? Do you want to make out with me? No, I do not. Do you want to make out with me? Not enough arms. And what about you? Do you want to make out with me? A little, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm working. Gotta say bad call because it was shit or no or fight, not shit or fight. And you have chosen poorly. Quick question: are any of you human? No, no, no. I'm not human. Now we're talking. What do you mean it was either or fight? Wait, I listen. What do you mean it's fine?
So, magic is apparently pansexual, something I'd never really heard of, but to my dismay, Google is telling me has nothing to do with kitchenware, and if that means you get a free ticket to kissing aliens, then sign me down, because I don't want to do that, that's disgusting. She has a long history of getting down to do things, and so I think we can just put her in this tier and move on with our lives.
Everyone that knows
hello,
what she wants.
So I'd like to just give a quick thank you to the guy who actually made this tier list, probably not expecting me to use it like this, but as I record this, today is the 13th of November, and I woke up this morning to start working on the video, and I found Gambit's handsome mug in the bottom left corner.
Wait, he didn't make the tier list?
We know the next season that drops in the day is going to be all about him and Rogue's marriage. You know what? Whilst we're on the topic of that trailer, actually, why don't we have a chat about this frame? These two characters have got to be
Black Panther and Storm.
Storm because she
sucks,
except for that one time she didn't, and Black.
Did he say Black Panther is the least popular character in the game? What are you smoking, buddy boy?
Whilst we're on the topic of that trailer, actually, why don't we have a chat about this frame? These two characters have got to be the least popular characters in this game. Storm because she sucks, except for that one time she didn't, and Black Panther because the people who play him suck. Unaware to me
they're
before
married?
Researching for this video, but T'Challa and Storm actually have a very long history together in the comics. Loves, marriages, divorces, rekindlings of feelings, and like pet cats or something, I don't know. Our Black Panther in-game talks to Storm and mentions loving a different version of her from a different timeline, although it seems his feelings are still kicking around. I guess he really does love her in every timeline, huh? Wholesome 100 Reddit Chungus moment. Bringing us back to this
Chungus
panel
mentioned
with me not only thinking that the love of these two is going to be explored into a marriage in the future, but already might be as of the time of this video's upload. Now, I'm going to interrupt the video to take a minute's break because I have a few things to say moving forward. First of all, I just want to touch on how well this video is going to age. This video's research was concluded as of November 15th. Anything else added to the game after that is beyond my window of knowledge. What I'm saying is that in season 7.5, if they decide to add the unholy love child between Spider-Man and Ultron, and you leave a comment being angry at me for not bringing it up, I'm not going to read it. The second thing I want to touch on is the research. There are going to be mistakes in this video. I hope we have all accepted that.
I mean, this video is for fun and it's silly and humorous. I don't think people I mean, some people do, oh, it wasn't totally comically accurate because in issue number 69 or 67, she had sex. I get it.
Non-comic book reader researching
I think
an
it's about
undocumented
it's not a
topic for a
documentary
company that has been around since 1939 is not easy. I'm confident most of what I've said is correct, but if I've gotten something wrong, feel free to correct me down below and don't.
When a YouTuber says feedback is welcome, it means it's not.
Good? Okay, let's move on.
Don't give feedback.
I owe all of you an apology, as earlier on in the video, I did a fake-out tease
That's
for covering a
fat
very
ass.
popular Marvel Rivals gal suffering from severe homophobia, and so the time has finally come
But
to
she's
talk about
homophobic?
Angela. I'm sorry, but every time I see this character, I can only think of that one multi-social media platform meltdown
I didn't know she had
certain members of
differently
the
colored
aforementioned
eyes.
lesbian Marvel Rivals community had, because someone drew a picture of Angela holding Daredevil up against the wall. If you didn't hear about this, go look it up, it's really funny. We're talking
I didn't know she has homophobia
the basis
in her
for this
eyes.
meltdown was the fact that Angela is a lesbian as she has a wife in the comics.
No!
Which isn't even 100% true.
She's
As in
a
her most recent
lesbian.
comic run, Angela and Sarah have separated, and they've been this way since at least 2018. Talk about making your litter tray and pissing in it. Anyway, you know the deal. Separated wife, not mentioned in game, all good is good. So remember that tier we made at the beginning of the video called It's a Draw that currently has no bitches in it? Yeah, this is where we're putting the remainder of the Asgardians.
What?
Remaining, not including Angela, because she's actually an original character to Marvel and isn't based off any one particular Norse god. You're really going to have to smell what I'm stepping in for this one. Just follow my lead. So these characters aren't based off the ones from Norse mythology. They are the ones from Norse mythology. In Marvel lore, this is the same Loki who did it with a horse, those who know. Despite these characters being the actual Norse gods, obviously, in the Marvel Comics universe, things happened that didn't happen in Norse mythology. Yet Marvel's comic book history has become so intertwined with Norse mythology as we know it, that I genuinely can't tell fact from fiction. So here's what we're dealing with. We have three characters, all of which with two sets of history to them, one being Norse mythology and the other being Marvel's interpretation of that. And when you start to ask yourself questions on what's the best way to take money out of a bear's pockets, you probably just shouldn't to begin with. They're all going in the It's a Draw tier. This has given me a big enough head.
I mean, I feel like in both cases they've definitely had, you know, collabs with other creatures with something at least. I know Loki's freaky, so but I get his point.
Headache. I'm going for a nap. Wow, what a great nap. Crossing off 2 more cheeky chaps I know belong in the big win tier, Blade finds his way up here as his daughter, Brielle Brooks, is actually the one who posted the missing article we found in the Season 1 limited time event. Never tell me I haven't done my research. The Thing finds his way up here for a slightly different reason actually. In the comics, he's always been married to a blind woman.
Why is
called
he
Alyssa,
left-clicking?
Whilst she isn't specifically referenced in-game, she features in the 4th installment in the Marvel Rivals Unlimited comic series. Yes,
That's
this
cute.
counts. No, we're not going to think about the biology. Rounding up the rest of our silly sausages.
Do you think his chungus is always rock hard? Do you think it goes soft?
My first thought for Iron Fist when researching this video was, who's that bebe? So this bebe is actually Angela's sister and has no relation to Iron Fist whatsoever really. And she was like kidnapped from hell or something.
Did Iron Fist steal a child?
I don't care. A few researchy doodles later, and I think it's quite funny.
The title of Iron Fist is one passed down through various warriors. This specific Iron Fist is Lin Lee, and whilst he has never explored, the cheaper town hall other Iron Fists
To
have.
say that Iron Fist is exactly like his mains. Now, I've put off covering Spider-Man for a while because it's never simple with this bastard.
I mean,
We're
he
gonna break
definitely-
our criteria
I mean,
slightly with
definitely.
Spider-Man, as I'm going to put him in the big win
Mary
tier, and I'm
Jane.
going to ask you to hear me out. Or leave,
What
I
was
guess.
it, Gwen-
So
Gwen?
this Spider-Man is indeed going out with MJ. That's all good and everything. However, from what I've understood, it's implied that these two live together
That is this plushie is so cute.
in their home dimension. And sharing a roof with your girlfriend is basically the same thing as a marriage, except it's not soul-crushing. Going with this for our answer saves me from having to go through all of the Spider-Man comics, as if I
Good
did, we'd
mythical
probably
morning.
be here until Christmas. Speaking of, actually, if it is Christmas when you're watching this now, Merry Christmas. And if the Grinch breaks in whilst you're
It's not
watching,
Christmas.
just kill him. Okay, so from what I understand, both Hulk and Banner have a long history of children in the comics, so we're going to get them out of the way quickly, because they've got to go answer the door.
Makes sense, makes sense.
I have something quite surprising to share with you. I don't think Bucky's tapped. I found many different comic books and
There's
story
no
threads where
way.
he adopts children, or
It actually kind of makes sense because I feel like he's the lonely brooding type, and like he thinks he's like noteworthy. I don't know anything about Bucky, and like he doesn't think anyone likes him, and he's just like sitting there grinding and being like mysterious. And I feel like Bucky would be scared of women.
he's tapped. I found many different comic books and story threads where he adopts children or takes on troubled kids as his own, but I don't think he has any biological kids in any timeline. Bucky, I'm so disappointed in you. I thought you were cool. Good chance I might have missed something here. Be sure to correct me down below if I have. But otherwise, yeah, I think I'm gonna need another nap after this.
Do you think Doctor Strange
Yeah, I
gets
woke up
strange?
early. For a penultimate special, 2 of our remaining characters both have children in the comics and have had various other instances of getting down to do things. Doctor Strange has a daughter called Sophia in the Earth 616 timeline, and then Star-Lord has a son called Rocket, named after Rocket, with a nice lady called Aradia. So, both the upsies, there goes these.
Imagine
And
naming
then-
your child Rocket. I'm gonna name my child Gun. I'm gonna name my child Hydrogen Bomb. I'm gonna name my child AK-47. Thank you, Bro
Hello
Sweeper, for
there.
the tier 3.
Hope you're doing good. We need more plushies on the background sofa.
I don't have that many plushies. It's not like Emeru.
There was one. A character I've already done 2 fake outs on throughout this entire video. You should never put it past me to
ICBM.
take a joke as far as I can. Here's the list of things I would. So, Luna. What's the game? Well, it's probably a mobile game, as Luna Snow is the youngest member on our roster, having only
She
been created
looks
in
so
2013
different.
for a mobile game. But she would be popular enough to go on
2013.
to feature in the comics. And oh look, there's her getting off with the green alien. Who looks suspiciously like Beast Boy, actually. There's also a couple accounts of her flirting with other characters in-game, but since that's not really concrete enough, I think I'm fine putting her in the yes, but not in Rivals tier.
I'm so happy I watched this video.
Wow, another outstanding piece of journalism from Big Quador. These are heights the BBC could only ever dream of achieving. If I've learnt anything from making this video, it's that I basically am Marvel Rivals. I double jump out of bed every morning just like Moon Knight, I teleport up the stairs just like Magic, and I throw up everything I eat just like Jeff. Other things I have
Do you
are
like the
Frost of
vid?
Scarlet Witch, the flexibility of your average Black Panther main, and the tits of Bucky. And until the day comes where Adam Warlock gets a tramp stamp of
Was
him
it a
kicking
W
the
video?
balancing team
It was a fun
squarely in the
video. I
dick.
think it was
My
well
name's
edited.
Been Lonkador. It probably still is.
Yeah, go check out his channel, check out the video, check out the chunguses. It's a good vid. It's a good vid for good Chungus people. I think it was quite funny. There was a lot of bits that really made me laugh. It's quite good.